underlying the making of this film was always my friends who had been lured into the Communist Party, the writers, the actors who were blacklisted and didn't work for more than 15 years, and suddenly got the news that Stalin was a fraud and what they believed in was a fraud. And the actress, Nora Heflin, who plays young Eva, her father was a blacklisted musician. Her mother, Frau Heflin, was a blacklisted actress. And it seemed to me so remarkably appropriate that she play the young Eva with all that verve and need until she found out as young Eva that her friends were being hanged, and that those who revolted against the Stalin rule were killed. And so that story of our lives together and ending it with being privileged, so privileged to have the godmothers, and Rachel is here, the godmother is here, to see the
producer of the film.
To see the Strindberg piece, to have it sent, it was my student piece, and somehow or other they saw it. And to have Rachel, who was sitting right over there, stand up and say, they were in college, and Tillie Olsen was a teacher in their class, and so they read Tell Me a Riddle, and decided to make a film out of it. And so Rachel called and said, would you be interested in, working on a script in order to make this movie about this story? And of course, I don't know whether she knew that I was a blacklisted actor or that that whole work that I did during the time that I was blacklisted was to fight against the committee and all of that. But they were very, very aware of what was going on and somehow managed to, remarkably, get the money to contact Joyce Eliason, who wrote the script, and for Joyce and I to work together. And you want to?
Yeah,
well,
Rachel, what did you see?
It was a great experience, for sure. We did get Tillie Olsen to give us the rights. She had turned down 4 filmmakers, and we went after the money. It took 4 years. It was really a long haul, but we thought that Lee was perfect. We saw The Stronger, saw the performances that she got from, that you got from these 2 actresses, amazing, and we thought she can get these performances. And a first-time director with a lot of experience acting herself is going to be able to tell Melvyn Douglas what to do. And so it was an amazing journey, and getting the late, great Joyce Eliason to write the script with you, Lee, that was astonishing.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a powerful film when you get to see it on the big screen. And, you know, Fred Murphy, there's some beautiful shots in there as well. I mean,
Well, I have to say, that Fred and I were partners through this whole thing. I mean, the Strindberg thing, I had a great cinematographer said, you know, once they said you can make it, everybody showed up. You saw great cinematographers, great costumes. So I was totally unprepared to shoot Tell Me a Riddle. I didn't know which end of the camera was up. I mean, it was Fred who said, oh, what did you say to me? Don't you know you're...
Yes. No, I just told you once it was like simple trigonometry.
Lee, it's simple trigonometry. And so we held hands like those Roman murals, and the actors, Brooke Adams, Lila Kedrova, and Melvyn Douglas, were so ensconced in their characters and in the reality of what they were doing. I don't remember a time when I gave anybody a direction. No, there was, I mean, maybe go up the stairs, or maybe, you know, or you're coming out of the room. But I had that same astonishing experience being there and directing it and being with Fred at the camera, because that was genius at work. There was a connection that was going on between them that was way beyond what I was able to bring to it. And there was, you know, Melvyn said, you know, I want to talk to you before we do this. I don't know whether I can. I've always done comedy. You know, it's always been like, I don't know if I can go there. And I'm old. And I said, well, that's what you use. That's why when we started the film, we had that long walk that he had over the trestles of the railroad and up every single stair until he got to the door, because he had permission to be old.
yeah, I mean, Fred Murphy, how did you first get connected with Lee in order to make this film?
I'm not exactly sure. I think, was it Suzanne Pettit?
They showed me a film that you'd made, and I
Yeah.
said, great, I would love to have
It was probably Girlfriends, or...
Yeah, it was girl.
Aha. And also I should say Suzanne Pettit, who unfortunately died much too young, the editor. That's, you know, she was great too. And Patrizia von Brandenstein, who designed it.
Patrizia von Brandenstein did the whole design of the film.
Yeah, and there's some beautiful shots. You know, I'm thinking about one of the flashback scenes with the girls in the yellow field of flowers, or the scene where Eva is dancing on the beach.
Oh yeah, no, that was beautiful. Gosh.
But thank God, I mean, there was Brooke.
Yeah, and Jeannie.
You know, thank God.
Yeah.
You know, when we hit San Francisco, and all of a sudden there was that youth against the age, and Brooke brought so much to it in terms of connecting with, and Ava wasn't connecting with Melvyn. You know, she was angry at him. So her only connection was really with her granddaughter. And Brooke just slipped into that relationship so beautifully and so warmly. And
Yeah, Brooke, I mean, Jeannie does have such a vitality to her when she comes alive on the screen, you come alive on the screen. Was this a formative film for you, especially being directed by such an accomplished actress?
Yeah, mostly the direction was so great for me because she says she didn't direct, but that's not true. She was amazing, my favorite director, and she's a woman and she's an actress, so of course.
And particularly rare at that time.
Yeah, very rare.
Yeah. And what are your memories of getting to act opposite Melvyn Douglas and Lila Kedrova?
I'm sorry.
I don't remember much. What I was shocked at was Lila was so kind of young and beautiful. I thought she was really old when we made the movie. And then, she didn't look old at all. She looked, a lot younger than I look now. It's weird.
That's interesting. Well, the thing about Lila is I think she was a genius.
Yeah.
There was something about her as a person. The first thing she did just before we began, was I turned around and I said, "Do you have mascara on?" And she said, "Yes, just a little mascara, and she had a little bit of that Zorba, I can still do this when I do. And I said, "Well, you're not allowed to. You can't have any makeup, but the coquette, underneath it was a charmer and a coquette, and so she came from a place that was so uniquely her own. You see certain actresses that have something that are uniquely their own, and she found that coquette, that hiding and appear, was just something that she had. I mean, my jaw was dropped through the whole thing because I didn't have to say anything. I didn't have to give one direction. I didn't for Brooke. I didn't for Melvyn. I didn't. I held his hand, and I said, "Look, look what's happening." I mean, when she was dancing on the beach, nobody told her to dance on the beach. When she went through, it was that electric. A little crazy, too. There's a craziness to it, which you don't know what she's going to do next. And I just wish she didn't have to die.
Yeah, it's just such a beautiful, expressive face and some heartbreaking moments in the film as well. I mean, the relationship, as you touched on, between Eva and David is so painfully real and completely complex. And although you say you don't direct them, I'm sure you created a safe space, being an actress yourself, to allow that.
I didn't have to create. And I would tell you if I did.
Trying to give you some credit.
Is Nora Heflin in the house? Could you just stand up? You can keep your mask on if you want and get in the light so that people can see you.
She played the young Eva in the film beautifully.
Nora Heflin. Yes, she was the daughter of blacklisted parents, and I was very, very close to her mother and father, and it was a remarkable feeling to have her play the young Eva, and her to be able to take that experience into her being.
Mm-hmm. And Brooke, as you watch the film now, what comes to mind, or what do you see, especially looking at yourself at that age on screen?
I had no idea I was as thin as I was. Maybe off, is it? Hello? It's very weird to see yourself, and it's especially weird to see yourself, whatever it is, 40, 50 years later. But this was something I was sort of obsessed with as a little girl. I'd watch those $1 million movies, and my obsession was about what did these actresses feel when they were much older and saw themselves young. I don't know why I was obsessed with it, but here I am getting to experience it. And I have no idea how I feel about it. I look good.
Very
I
good.
look
You
good.
still look amazing.
Well, thank you.
Fred, what was, your experience working with Lee? I mean, this definitely does not look like the first theatrical feature film directed, first-time director directing this film. It's just beautiful.
No, a lot of it's Lee. I mean, I remember, well, this is only the second film I ever did in 35 millimeter. I was pretty starting out, I would say. But no, I remember a lot of things. No, you did a lot of things. I remember there's one point where we're behind you said, we're behind the, I guess it's a mosquito screen, that mosquito net, and you said let's be inside the mosquito net, let's be inside the mosquito net, let's be outside the net, let's be both. You said that. That was a great,
I remember that.
And then we had to figure out how to get the camera up on the bed and other such unfortunate things.
Well,
but
I remember most when Lila and Melvyn were sitting on the steps, and we were like halfway down the steps because they were sitting there where he tells her that he sold the home. And I remember crying so hard underneath the camera, crying so hard at the scene that I was like to keep from having my sobs go over hers and Melvin's sobs. But I was just so enchanted by them and so moved by them all the time. I just felt so privileged. The other woman, Mrs. Mays.
Lily.
Huh?
Lily Valente.
Yeah, Lily Valente. What an actress. When she enters and she takes them up the steps, and I was so astonished by the work of my superiors. I felt they were going places that I didn't know whether I would ever get to do the kind of work that they did, and I didn't. I don't think.
I beg to differ.
But
Incredible actress.
But that's being the director. I'm also the astonished actor. Learning as I'm watching, because they were so ready, all of them, to go in, and I thought that Brooke made that extraordinary crossing into taking care of her grandmother, of really caring for her. That made Lila just come to life there. I mean, that's why she showed the book. And I did change a lot of things that were in the book. All the, really great poets that I wanted, none of those commies, I had them all be, our guys, none of theirs.
Well, following this film, you started to make documentaries. Am I correct in saying that you saw Barbara Koppel's Harlan County, USA, and that inspired you to want to make documentaries?
Absolutely. I won an award on the first one, the two girls.
The Stronger.
I'd won an award on The Stronger, which was originally, because I was in a movie called Shampoo, and
Little film.
and Warren Beatty turned to me and said, Lee, you're 49. And he was saying, so long, baby, 'cause this is Hollywood. And, you know, and I was really 50. I wasn't even 49. and I got a call the next day from the
AFI.
AFI, and they said, do you know any actors who would like to take our first directing workshop? And I thought, me, 50, and that's how it started. And I had seen I'd seen The Stronger done at the Actors Studio with Anne Bancroft and another wonderful actor, and it was all at a table. You know, it's a theater piece, and it's all at a table, and the place, the AFI, is like, it has a mansion and grounds in it, and it's aged, you know. And I thought, well, what if I did The Stronger here, and we could use all of this place as a restaurant, as a place to explore. And so it was just a great journey. And my dearest friends, didn't you think their work was amazing? Yeah. Susan Strasberg and Dolores Dorn. And so it was a chance. Susan never got a chance to do work like that. You know, and the whole Strindberg thing of having one woman talk and the other be silent through the whole time, and you're always expecting her to say something. But you know, how, you know, really cranky of him not to, you know, not to fulfill it and not let her have one fucking word in it, you know. And the concept of it was so interesting to me, and when they gave me enough money to make it, and my husband, Joe Fury, who has produced everything I've ever done and produced that, my very first thing, he contacted costume designers and extras and people, so that the whole place, and the musicians and the horses and the carriage and the chorus, you know, instead of being just a two-character thing in black and white, which I'd made, it became alive. And that was because Joey did it.
Yay, Joey. No, and, you know, Rachel, Fred, or Brooke, whoever would like to answer, seeing how Lee Grant is so incredibly humble, I'd love just to wrap up for you to say what impresses you the most about her, whether it's professionally or personally.
Well, yeah. Let me borrow that mic. I think that, Lee, you have really shown the world with your documentaries, including the Wilmar 8, which you made while we were raising the money, raising the money, and all of the documentaries that you did afterward have shown yourself to be as strong a director as you have been an actress. And we're very lucky to have that talent. And we were lucky to get you to stick with us during all that time for Tell Me a Riddle. It was a quandary, and no women had ever raised $1 million for a film. It had never happened before. I know that seems, you know, small now, but it's, you know, like a $6 million film now. And I think that Lee brought the class and the elbow grease and the art to this work and all of the works she's done.
Fred. Fred.
Well, I'd say, Lee, the most amazing thing about you is bravery. You're so brave. I mean, you know, you didn't know much. You just, but you said, well, why can't we put the camera there? Or why is that happening? Why can't you fix that? Why can't, you know, we should do that? No, bravery in this and in this film and in the rest of your life as well.
Let me just say something, and thank you. We also made a documentary together.
Yes.
We made What Sex?
Yeah.
We made What Sex Am I? And it's particularly important at this time where there is such an anti-homosexual wave that is coming from the Trumpers. And I must say that the documentary that we made in San Francisco certainly holds up the wonders and the needs of not just the homosexual, the
Transgender.
the cross-dressers, the gender people, and if there's any way that you could see it, I would be very grateful.
Absolutely. Any last words, Brooke, before we wrap it
Yeah,
up?
I think that what is most, I love Lee. I just love her as a friend and as an artist, and I just love her. But I think that I felt so much like she's so authentic, and she's also so humble, that's the kind of person that makes me want to be my best. I don't know why, but she would say to me, that wasn't very good. I think you can do better. What do you think? And it was such a relief to hear that. Yeah. You know, because I knew she knew, and it was respectful, and it was just, it's a gift to work with her.
Who's she?
Well, please join me in thanking Brooke Adams, Fred Murphy, Rachel Lyon, and Lee Grant.